Right, so in today's video, I'm not going to be focusing too much on the lawn, but instead I'm going to be tackling this absolute monstrosity that is growing behind my garage. Some of the weeds and grasses that are growing behind here now are just getting out of control. They're absolutely huge. I don't know what half the stuff is, but I think it's best to tackle it now before things get even worse than they already are. I'm not 100% sure why I've got such a, a lively ecosystem of weeds growing behind the garage. It doesn't seem to get any sun, maybe, a few minutes of the day when it passes over. I think with the angle of the wall at the back of the garden, it sort of shades the back of the garage for most of the day. I guess it's just one of those environments where the moisture just sits on the stones and seeps into the ground below and just results in these weeds absolutely thriving. I thought the best solution to get rid of these weeds would just be to pull them by hand. I didn't want to use the weed puller tool that I used on the grass earlier this week, just with the thought of it's not going to be able to get through the stones, it's not going to get a good enough grip on the actual roots below. I was surprised though that we had so many weeds coming through. I'll show the clip now of the actual felt or the material underneath these stones that was supposed to be there to prevent anything from growing through. However, I think with it being more of a fabric material, things have managed to make their way through and thrive, as you can see from the abundance of stuff that has ended up growing behind here. So these stones have been here for around about 12 months now. Not long after we moved in, we had sort of part of the garden reflagged. And at the same time, the people who did the flagging came back here and laid the stone. Now, it did look much tidier when they first put it down. I think with it being a year and the fact the chippings don't seem to be the highest quality, I think especially with them being white chippings, they've discoloured quite a lot over the course of the last 12 months. So it did look tidier once they put all this down. But I was quite surprised at the amount of things that were growing through. I thought when they put this material down, it will prevent weeds. However, it's not always the case. I was amazed most by these two weeds, especially how sort of tall and how thick the stems were. The stems are about a centimetre thick, so to have thrived back here, it's definitely something I wanted to remove before it even tried spreading onto the lawn. Now you can see how easy it is as well when I come to pull this weed out the ground. None of the roots come with it, all the roots stay below the fabric, which you will cover later on in the video. I'll show you what I did to combat that. But they basically just snapped off as if there was nothing holding them. I'm almost surprised any wind passing through didn't knock them over, to be honest, because they came off that easily. The size of these, it's just incredible. About 2 months ago, they were only small, like a weed you'd find on your grass, and over the course of a couple of months, they've just shot up the side. Now, to prevent any of these weeds from coming back, I've got Westland Resolver Weed Killer, which I'm hoping when I apply it over this space, it's going to go past all the stones, soak through that material layer into the soil below, and really kill any of those roots. The smaller weeds did come out with the roots, however those larger weeds snapped off so easily and all those roots stayed below the actual material layer. So hopefully by applying a layer of this over the top of those stones, it's going to prevent anything else from growing again in the future. So my final job then for the next couple of weeks is to get some new chippings to lay over the top of this. I think I'll still stick with a light colour. I may go for a really light grey that I can just put over the top of this, and hopefully that will also add to that extra layer of protection against any more weeds from coming through in the future. So it was just a short video today, a little bit of garden maintenance, doing a few bits behind the garage whilst I've got a week off from work. But if you did like this video, feel free to give it a like, subscribe, and you can comment below with any advice for us, whether I've done things right or wrong. I know on a few of my videos previously I've got a few things mixed up or not quite right. So if you have any advice, just chuck it down below. And thank you very much for watching.